I'm Taylor Politis, and my first novel is The Rebel Wife, and it's a story set in Reconstruction, Alabama in 1875 in a town that I've created called Albion, which is based on my hometown, Huntsville, Alabama. And the story centers around a woman who had been from a wealthy family who were ruined by the war. She marries a sort of politically and economically convenient person who dies at the opening of the novel. She believes at that time she's free, she's independent, and as her family and circumstances close in around her, she is forced to struggle and look for answers to what this world is that she inhabits, who the people are around her, who she can trust, and how she can truly find independence. So thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
What made you decide to put it in Alabama?
Well, I grew up there. I grew up in Huntsville. I was
Yeah.
born there, and I was always fascinated with Huntsville from a young age.
But see, Huntsville is very different from like the parts of Alabama we live
Yes,
in. Yeah.
I think that's true. And my dad was there for NASA. He was
Okay.
an engineer, an aerospace engineer with NASA, and so I was born there. The Huntsville that I'm looking at in the 1860s and 1870s and 1930s is so different from the Huntsville I grew up in, because in the 1950s, the military base and the Werner von Braun with the spaceflight project and all that were located
Right.
in Huntsville and changed the landscape entirely. And
Yeah.
there was a building boom and all these
Right.
different people from all different backgrounds. It made it, it changed it. But the core,
Yeah.
what's interesting to me is that core. But,
'Cause-
it was a place, the historic district is beautiful, and we would go on tour. In kindergarten, we were sort of taken around. And that's what amazes me, too, because it's huge. It's a big district of pre-Civil War homes, which are all beautiful, like mansions, amazing. And so few people know about it, and the city itself seems to, they have a bunch of historic districts, and there's an incredible amount of
Yeah.
history,
Have you ever
but
been?
it's a very forward-looking.
Well, how'd you end up in
city.
Rhode Island?
Random.
Random.
How does anyone end up in Rhode Island? I had lived in New York and worked in finance, and when I quit my job to write books, I moved to Cape Cod, and I've loved my time in Provincetown. It's a beautiful place, and it's a place I want to go back and visit often. But at a certain point, I needed to be in a place that was not a resort community.
Yeah.
And I had looked, all around, because I was really open to the idea of moving. I could move anywhere. My mom is in Nashville, my dad is in Northern Virginia. I was looking in Western Massachusetts or Asheville or,
I
different
love Asheville,
places. And somehow I just kept coming back to Providence. It's sort of an under-the-radar city,
Yeah,
but it has an incredible level of culture, book culture and art
It's not that
culture
big,
and a
is it?
creative. It's not that big,
Yeah.
and yet has a real urban feel, which I like. I love New York City, and I love the sensibility, but that too becomes too overwhelming. So it certainly is a happy medium.
So
for
you
me
wanted
right
cold
now.
weather? 'Cause
I
it's
like
every
the
place you
seasons.
mention
I
was-
like the
yeah,
seasons. Yeah, I do. I've become accustomed to the seasons, and I really enjoy them. I love snow. I'm jealous. It's snowing up there right now, and I'm like, oh, I'm missing it. There's been so little snow this winter.
And
So,
see,
thank you.
I hope don't
I had a great time in Greenville. It's a beautiful.